didn't mean to do that. How's this frame? Do it look crazy? Probably. Well, hello friends. I have recently impulsively bought a lot of books recently, which I have displayed around me. I haven't used a microphone before, so hopefully this sounds good. So, impulsively bought some books. It's literally been a month. No, more than a month since I was in New York. I was in New York, in Brooklyn, for Halloween, that Halloween weekend. And it's now December 7th. And I have been on a book buying rampage because I am crazy. You know what? Mind your business. It's fine. And if you saw my New York vlog, you already saw 5 or so of these books. Obviously, there's more than 5 now. I don't know. You probably can't even see all of them. Stay to the end of the video to help me pick my next read. I honestly think all the books I bought are going to be new favorites, but I do want to read one more book before the end of the year. My sad little goal for the end of the year. I want to read one more 5-star amazing book before the end of this year. It's December 7th, so it's totally doable. But the problem I have is, what if I pick the wrong book and I don't like it? So help me at the end. I'm gonna tell you about all the books I bought and tell me which book you think I should read, and I'm gonna make a little vlog about it. Oh, I want reading to be fun again, guys. This is such an odd video, I know. I'm like in bed, really relaxed, and y'all might be like, is she okay? Like, why is she in bed right now? Is she doing okay? I actually am doing so great that I need to challenge myself and push myself to do just a hair more. I have been doing so much self-care. Like, that's why I have all these books, because I have been semi-treating myself. Like, honestly, this isn't as bad as it used to be. 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 11 new books, which might sound like a lot, but I used to regularly buy 20 books at a time or 30 books at a time. I think it was more like 30 books at a time, honestly. So 11 books isn't bad, and I'm genuinely very interested in a lot of these, and I feel like it's more towards the reading taste that I'm developing now, trying to get more into like lyrical writing and adult fiction, but there's still a hint of fantasy and YA and all that stuff. But I talk for so long. Let's get into the books. So I'm going to start off with one that I have already kind of paged through. I read like 6 pages. Who do I think I am? But it is We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson in this beautiful edition. I think it's like a Penguin Classics Deluxe edition. I said I think, but then I literally read it from the back of the cover. Super spooky looking. I really love it. It's a soft, like matte cover. So it's paperback feeling, but not. I don't know how to describe it. I picked this up because I was really drawn to Shirley Jackson, for one, because The Lottery is a short story that I really liked that my mom introduced me to in high school. My mom's an English teacher. Hi, Mom. I knew I would like her writing style. It's like simplistic, but semi-lyrical. Like, I know I like her writing style, so I wanted to pick up more of her fiction. I was drawn to this book because the first sentence, or first excerpt, sorry, I'm going to give you more than you're asking for, but it's because it's good. The first sentence is, "My name is Mary Catherine Blackwood." Not a very interesting first sentence, but let's keep reading. "My name is Mary Catherine Blackwood. I am 18 years old, and I live with my sister, Constance. I've often thought, with any luck at all, I could have been born a werewolf, because the 2 middle fingers on both hands are the same length, but I have to be content with what I had. I dislike washing myself, and dogs, and noise. I like my sister Constance, and Richard, and the Death Cup mushroom. Everyone else in my family is dead." What the actual F? I was like, everyone else in her family's dead. What's going on? And I read the first like 6 pages, and she's like going through this town, and she's kind of perceiving how buying groceries is like playing a board game, because she hates it, but she also kind of likes it. So like getting home is the prize, like getting to win, but she loses points if she has to interact with people she hates. And she also has these really, really intensely negative sentences just randomly dropped in. Like, she'll drop all this setting and like this character doing their thing, and then she'll be like, "Oh, and all my family's dead, and I hate people here, and I wish I could murder someone." Like, all these like randomly really aggressive thoughts that I love. I'm reading it for the aggression. Like, Shirley Jackson, thank you. Literally 6 pages in, but I feel like it's gonna be a favorite. Next, oh, this is also a book I'm really excited for because of the first section, which I will have to read to you. I'm so sorry. You're gonna have to suffer through my butchery of reading. We love dyslexia. But I have this book called Heaven. I don't know how to say the first name. I'm very sorry, but Kawakami is the author's last name, and Heaven is the title. There was also another book by this author called like Breasts and Eggs, which seemed very interesting to me. I'll read the back because I love how dramatic some of these like excerpts are. With profound compassion and sensitivity, Kawakami has created a moving, revelatory portrayal of 2 young people living with extreme circumstances. Okay. So, I knew this was going to be probably a hard read. Bullying, not fun, we don't love. Why I picked up this book was because of this first page, which I just thought was so fun. One day, towards the end of April, between classes, I unzipped my pencil case and found a folded triangle of paper between the pencils. I unfolded it to see what it was inside. We should be friends. That's all it said. Now, there's a couple other things where the girl is now trying to figure out, who wrote this? Do you think the kids are messing with me? Is it a prank? But like, oh, we should be friends. How freaking adorable. And then these 2 start a correspondence. But I'm also very much excited for this. I really feel like this is going to be a really enjoyable read. Okay, let's start with a one that I'm like, why did I buy this book? I hated it in high school, but then I thought it'd be really fun to see if I would enjoy it now that I am a reader. If you don't know, if you didn't see my video on dyslexia, I really did hate reading for a very, very long time. It's a long story. Watch the video if you don't know. But I did not finish any single books in high school. I ran away from reading because I was that bad at it. So reading was not fun for me, particularly Jane Eyre. I read, and I got this really cute, like, edition for, like, $7. You probably can't see it because it's focusing on my face and not the gorgeous book, which is so rude. This is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, which I read the first 20 pages of in high school, and I remember enjoying it because it's back when she was an orphan, and she was rebellious, and she was defeating the system. But then, like, something happens, and then we have a time jump where she's an adult, and she's plain, and she's boring, and no one loves her, and she's unmarried. And I remember that's when I put it down. I was like, you can't get me to finish this. No way. Why would I read a book that sounds that terrible and tragic? But what I've come to learn about stories is, because I enjoyed the beginning so much, I'm sure the character development will get there towards the end, where she finds love and a bit of herself and is able to survive in 1847. What a crazy time. Do you care about the first sentence of Jane Eyre? I feel like everyone knows Jane Eyre well enough that I don't have to, but like, I guess let's do it. Try not to rip any of these books. Watch me destroy all these books because I'm just in bed throwing them around. Chapter 1. There was no possibility of taking a walk that day. We had been wandering, indeed, in the leafless shrubbery an hour in the morning, but since dinner, Mrs. Reed, when there was no company, dined early. The cold winter wind had brought in with clouds of somber and a rain so penetrating that further outdoor exercise was now out of the question. I mean, honestly, not an engaging first paragraph, if I'm honest. But I remember enjoying the first part a lot and hating the fact that it had a time jump. So, I'm like holding it now like, this disgusting book. I hope to love you. I feel like I'm explaining these really slowly, so I apologize. It's probably because I'm in bed and that's the energy I'm giving. So hopefully it's giving you cozy vibes. Like, are you drinking coffee while watching this video? Are you eating breakfast? Like, what are you up to? Not my camera turning off. Soundtrack. That's just to make sure the mic is synced up with the camera. Okay, let's also check that the audio is still okay, thank God. It's still recording. Watch the audio not even be good. Okay, moving on to, let's talk about this book. We talked in some adult fantasy, which I'm so excited for. I like how I have, like, receipts in all of these. Like, clearly I'm so lazy. We have this beautiful book called We Do Magic. That doesn't say we. Sometimes, you know, I do hate myself. Will Do Magic for Small Change, which I think is just a fun title. And this is by Andrea Hairston. and I believe she has written a bunch of books that I've heard good things about, but I honestly hadn't been interested in reading them. Oh, Master of Poisons. I've heard so many good things about it. I probably look crazy, but I'll put it up on the screen. But I was reading the beginning of this book, and it was all about this girl at a funeral and her, like, just being, like, thinking of the world in a different way, and I like that. And synopsis wise, I'm like, oh, I don't know what happens. It's supposed to be sci-fi, but like also magic e. Not me saying e twice. Here's a bit of the synopsis from the inside. Cinnamon Jones dreams of stepping on stage and acting. Oh, pause. That is why I also picked this up, because she is an actor, more theatrical, less film, but we stand, and acting her heart out like her famous grandparents. Redwood, bunch of people, theatrically challenged. They won't necessarily stop her, but her family life is a tangle of mysteries and secrets, and nobody is telling her the whole truth. Ooh, let's hear it. Will Do Magic for Small Change presents a tale of alien science. What? Alien science? Dang. Okay, wow. I'd be picking up books and be like, what the F is this? Sounds like a ball of fun. What is this? It says public display. Books let dead people talk to us from the grave. See, like, I just have questions. First of all, Andrea, you okay? I hope you are. It's a stunning book. I really feel like this is going to be a really fun fantasy read. Hopefully. That's the only problem with impulsive buying, is that I'm really buying books because of their essence, not because I've heard too much about this or that. I just, like, picked it up and, like, read a little bit of it and was like, this gut feeling feels good. I'm gonna check this out. And then, like, watch me hate it. Oh, see, this next impulsive buy? Totally the opposite of what I just said, so ignore everything I just said. Such a Fun Age by, what's the author? Keely Reid. Wow, it took me too long to read that. Such a Fun Age. Literally, I feel like a really, 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 really popular book. Also, fun fact, Reese, her book club, it is a monopoly. Like, I was watching a podcast about it, how Reese's book club will pick books and create an audience of people who now are invested in this book and have found love in it, and then she picks up the book's rights to make it into a movie. So she then makes more money because now her audience will go and watch the movie, and the audience who watches the movie will then go and buy the book, yada yada yada. It's a scheme to make tons of money, and it's brilliant, and I kind of love it, but also at the same time I'm like, it's, I believe, about, what is it, a white woman and, like, her nanny gets almost arrested or accosted because someone thought the nanny was abducting her child. Black woman problems we love. That's the very bare minimum knowledge that I know. Ooh, look at this cute bookmark, which the camera will not focus on, so I'll insert a clip of it. It says read more books. It's cute. I love it. This is from the Word Bookstore. I guess that's where I probably bought this book. I explored so many bookstores in New York. It was so much fun. I hate when books, like, have so many pages in the beginning of it. Like, just give me the first page. Thank you. First sentence. That night when Miss Chamberlain called Irina could only piece together the words, take Briar somewhere, and pay you double. So, I do think the writing style of this will be good. I am looking forward to it. I've heard great things, so, yeah. Oh, and this is a social satire. I didn't even know it was a satire. Okay, now I'm more excited for it. I do like a bit of fantasy, satire. It needs a little something, a little darkness. You know what I mean? Because why would I just read a regular schmegular book? You know what I mean? It needs to be a 5-star book. Okay, I'm done being extra. Okay, this is another one I got. This was like why did I do this? When I buy books because of the edition they're in, I really need to stop this. But at the same time, maybe I'll love it. Who knows? Okay. We have Johnny Panic and the Bible of Dreams by Sylvia Plath, which is a bunch of short stories, which, again, I have never liked a short story collection. What am I doing? I'm on crack cocaine, impulsive buying. No thank you. But look how cute. This is a postcard from a cafe that I went to. This I solely bought because it was Sylvia Plath, which is, again, maybe not a great reason to buy a book, but learn from my mistakes. So, this is the story, Mothers. Esther was still upstairs when Rose called her at the back door. Yoo-hoo, Esther, you ready? Rose lived with her retired husband, Cecile. Cecile? I might not be saying that name right. At the topmost of the 2 cottages in the lane leading up to Esther's house, a large thatched manor farm with its own cobbled court. The cobbles were not ordinary street cobbles, but pitch cobbles. They're narrow, blah, 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 lots of stuff happening, lots of detail. There are people outside. I wonder if you can hear it. Me looking at this book like, was this some stock? Because I do say, with impulsive buying, though I only still bought 11, which is good for me, there's a couple in here that I'm like, what did I do this for? But I'm like hoping to like it. Oh, sorry, you can't even see like the stack of books. I'll stack them on top of me so we can add to the fun of the video. So these are all the books I've purchased. This is what we have. We still have so much to still go through. Okay. Next, we have the Martian Chronicles, which was definitely a purchase because of its adorableness. Mass market paperback, anyone? I love a mass market paperback. I really want to start collecting more, and I want to read more science fiction. So this is Ray Bradbury, which he wrote, I think, Fahrenheit 451, which I have not read. I know nothing about. It's just one of those classics that everyone's like, you should read it. But this was giving me Red Rising because it is a bunch of short stories of people's like trials and tribulations on Mars. So Martian Chronicles. So I think the world as we know it has changed and now we can only live on Mars. And I was like, yeah, this sounds exciting. I want to go to Mars. No, I don't want to go to Mars. I want to save our planet. Let's all treat it with kindness. Okay, thank you. Oh my god, watch this video. Watch me not be able to post this video because it's garbage. Okay, let's give you the first sentence. I will also say, when I picked this up and read the first few sentences, I was like, oh, I dig. Oh, I can dig. Why am I talking like that? I enjoyed it, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, the first sentence. And I also like that this edition says January 1999, but the audiobook says January 2030. So we know this book is dated. It's hella dated. Okay. 1 minute it was Ohio winter with doors closed, windows locked, and plain icicles fringing every roof, children skiing on slopes, housewives lumbering their great black bears in their furs along the icy streets. So I also kind of just like how rhythmic it is and how poetic it sounds. And I think that was one of the things that Ray Bradbury was really well known for, his writing, because he's apparently like a really poetic writer. Look at you. Okay, next. I'm going to try and go faster, but like, will I? Who knows? Okay, we have the Merciless Ones. This is the sequel to... What's it called? What was the first one called? The Gilded Ones. Wow, I completely forgot. So this is a sequel that I knew I wanted because I loved the first one. So I'm not going to read the first sentence to you because it might spoil it. But if you want feminism, if you want African warrior badass chicks, take it a step further to add magical systems, an unknown religious system that's being upheld. Basically, in this world, there are women who bleed gold, the Gilded Ones, and they are synonymous with like satanic creatures, and the governments or our political powers in this universe don't like them. They're like, no, they have extra strength and powers, so they're bad automatically. They're satanic. They can't be married. They can't live in society. They are only capable of being warriors. So they get pulled to the capital and end up having to defend their governments, but at the same time there's this like whole religious background that's happening that's like basically how to cleanse yourself. Like there's a lot happening. There's a whole origin to how the magic system was created and who's lying about what, and there's so much going on. So I'm very excited to see what the F is going to happen, because the first book was amazing. I have like no idea where it's going to go next. Okay, moving on. We have 3 more books. Hang in there. I need you to help me pick my favorite one out of all of these. My favorite. I need you to comment down below which one you think is going to be a 5 stars so I can read it. Because maybe you have read these books. Maybe you have better taste than me, which is probably the more likely choice. Her Body and Other Parties. Fun fact, when I went to Brooklyn, because not a lot of people like are tourists in Brooklyn. Everyone's normally in Manhattan or on the island in New York City. So because I was in Brooklyn, I wasn't perceived as a tourist, which I thought was really cool. I was literally just hitting up local shops and local like eateries, just walking around, just kind of being like boop boop boop. But because of that, when I stopped into this kind of almost like WeWork building, but they had food and I was in desperate need of food because I'd been walking around. The lady was like, "Here is a card, and for every 9 stamps, you get a free coffee." And I was like, "Thanks." And I took it and I was like, me not being a local, but I guess I have to visit this place like 9 times now. So every time I go to Brooklyn, I have to go so I can get a free coffee in like a decade. That's how long it would take. But yeah, I've heard many, many good things about this. Again, me lying about me buying books because I haven't heard anything from them. I just like the synopsis. Lies. I bought this because of Hannah from A Clockwork Readers. So hopefully it's good. I'm going to judge her taste. I feel like I normally like the books that she likes, but I haven't even read The Night Circus, so I could be lying. What sold me about this was that it's psychological realism, science fiction, comedy, horror, fantasy, and fabulism, which I was just like, what? But again, this is short stories. There are 8 short stories in here. I'm like, lady, who do you think you are? You have never liked short stories. Why are you buying them? Is it because my taste has changed and maybe I'll like them now? But what sold me was the first section. The story starts with, "If you read this book out loud, please use the following voices." And I was like, girl, yes. Cast of characters, we stand. Okay, 2 more books. We're almost there. This next one is 3 Rooms, and I actually recently found out that this was kind of like a retelling or inspired by Virginia Woolf's A Room of Her Own, which is supposed to be like a feminist theory or diving into the reason why men are so successful is because they normally have a space of their own. Like for a very long time, they were allowed to have an office. They were the only ones allowed to have money and business and yada yada. And my camera's gonna die again. So okay, where was I? Me trying to like not look crazy, but at the same time I'm crazy and I accept this. Okay, wait, that's not the book I was talking about. Here she is. 3 Rooms. So it is inspired by Virginia Woolf's A Room of Her Own, but a modern interpretation, which I was like, hell yeah, because I do want to read Virginia Woolf. Definitely think I'm gonna like it. Oh my god, this author is my age. She was born in London in 1997 and she's written a book and she's published. Not me being jealous. I wish. Moving on. So, I thought this one would be a good one to read because I do want to read Virginia Woolf, but I know she's a little bit dated, obviously. It's like centuries old. A century old? 2 century old? I don't know how old. But it's obviously dated. So, I'm excited to read this from a more modern interpretation and obviously way more diverse because of the author. But at the same time, I enjoyed the fact that this is about one person's perspective in 3 different rooms in different moments in her life. In the first section, part 1, you no longer possess your own furniture, which I was like, facts. When you're so hella fucking broke. Yeah. Let's see. My first experience with the house was shuttling boxes through the front door. Blah, 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 blah. Again, not a very good first sentence, but I think this one is going to be more of a deep dive into life. But I'm hoping that, yeah, the author does have a little bit of a dark humor or just some humor, because, again, I need to add some flavor, or else why am I reading you? Okay, last book. Oh my god, y'all, you made it to the last one. I'm so proud of you. This is Dreaming of You, which, if you don't know, Selena has her song, Dreaming of You. So this is definitely inspired by that. And Selena is a character in this. So this is a Latinx poet grappling with loneliness and heartache, decides one day to bring pop star Selena back to life. And this kickstarts an uncanny trip, journey through a dead celebrity prom, encounters a shadow self, and performs karaoke in hell. This just sounded so extremely fun, and like, I don't know, it just seems like very, very entertaining. Like, don't know if the writing will give like literary Virginia Woolf, Shirley Jackson living in a castle. No idea, but I think it's gonna give like shits and giggles basically. So I'm very, very excited for it. But yeah, those are all the books that I purchased impulsively recently. Yeah, please let me know down below which book I should read next, as my goal to read one more 5-star book, because y'all, I don't even think I have a top 10. I don't think I have 10 books that were like my top fave for this year. I think I was trying to figure it out. Let's see, I'm looking at my bookshelves. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 books that were like top tier books, and one of them is a 4-star. So this year has not been a good reading year. So hopefully one of these will fix it, so I at least have a top 5 video of the top 5 books that I read this year. Whew, child. Okay, well, now I have to edit this video and try and post it. The YouTube life. I also love the fact that I was in bed. Let me know if you had a relaxing time, if you enjoyed this little experience. I'm gonna say experience. Did you enjoy this? Did you enjoy this experience? Let me know. If you made it to the end of this video, comment down below this emoji so I know you are the real MVP, and please, please, please help me pick the next book, because I want another 5-star before the end of this year. Because though I feel like my mental health is getting way better, my reading has not, and we're gonna fix that in 2023. I have plans. We're gonna make it happen, okay? I'm hyped. Okay, I'm done chatting, because this is probably a very I'm done chatting. This is probably a very, very long video, but I really appreciate you if you watch this, and if you like my content, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Now I'm going to try and make a thumbnail and, yeah, do all my YouTube stuff. So I'll see you in the next video. I have my next book unhaul coming next week, which is a huge unhaul, and I really don't want to film it, but I will for you guys. I'll do it, I swear.